While selling the gun, the hitman was shocked to discover that the buyer's speed in assembling the weapon was actually more professional than his own. He sensed something was off, so before the buyer could test the gun, he secretly adjusted the scope's alignment to see if the buyer was up to something. Unexpectedly, the buyer picked up the gun and immediately noticed the problem. All 3 bullets hit their mark. Jack instantly realized that the other person must be a professional hitman and that there was definitely some kind of scheme behind her coming to buy a gun from him. But just as Jack was puzzling over this, the woman handed him the sniper rifle and asked Jack to fire at her from a distance to test the silencer. This was the perfect opportunity to take her out. Jack raised his gun and aimed directly at her. Since he had no concrete evidence, Jack decided to keep observing, but he told the woman the gun still needed fine-tuning and wouldn't be ready for delivery for 3 days. The woman handed Jack the deposit without hesitation, seeming completely normal. However, Jack noticed that during the silencer test, the buyer had been tense and looked uneasy, clearly on guard. But Jack didn't know that danger was already creeping up on him. Just as he returned to town that evening, a man was quietly following behind him. As a hitman, Jack keenly sensed he was being tailed. He hid around a corner, quickly took off his shoes, then circled around the alley to get behind the man. But the next second, an unexpected incident occurred. Due to the sudden appearance of a passerby, the assassin, hearing the commotion, immediately fled. Jack hopped on his motorcycle and gave chase. As Jack fired, the motorcycle lost control and crashed into the curb. Jack then moved in and finished him off. Because of this incident, Jack grew even more suspicious of the buyer. So, the day before the handover, Jack opened his gun case and made a few modifications to his weapons. Then he went to the cafe where he'd agreed to meet the buyer. But strangely, just as the buyer sat down, the customer at the next table suddenly got up and left. Even the buyer stood up, claiming he needed to go to the restroom to inspect his weapons closely. This strange scene made Jack uneasy because even the cafe owner had vanished from sight. The silence around him was eerie. This was likely the calm before the storm. Jack cautiously turned his head, keeping a watchful eye on his surroundings. He saw the buyer return to the cafe. He quickly stood up and walked toward the entrance, hiding his pistol in his pocket. After all, in such an open space, the killer surely wouldn't dare to shoot. The buyer didn't seem to notice anything. The buyer handed the final payment to Jack and then drove away. Had Jack simply overthought the situation? After receiving the final payment, Jack drove away. He found his girlfriend and told her he had retired, planning to leave this place with her. But unexpectedly, the buyer arrived at a house, killed the homeowner, and immediately took out the sniper rifle Jack had made. He then took aim at Jack from the roof. But just as he pulled the trigger,